Wow, what a difference. The Talkbuster Podcast. Hi, I'm Chris Chipman. You may remember me from such podcasts as the Chipman Brothers Tangent and Creating Geeks, a parenting podcast of great responsibility. I'm here to bring you back to the late 90s, early 2000s, a time of Amrays and clamshells, a time of late fees and VHS tapes being replaced by DVDs, a time of stale gumballs and overpriced candy. Yes, that's right. I am talking about the time of Blockbuster Video, the Walmart of the video rental industry, the mom-and-pop video store killer, the corporate big choice video store that everybody loved to hate. Blockbuster is mostly gone now. Kids today will never know the crazy Friday and Saturday nights with lines wrapped around the store to rent the next big movie. No more will regulars who are in the know arrive at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays to snatch up the new rentals that week before the weekend rush. Most of all, no longer will young movie geeks like myself have the memories I, and many others like me, made while working there. You see, under all of the corporate evil and bad practices, Blockbuster was a home, a comfort, a place where I made lifelong friends and even met my wife. It is because of these memories that I, and I'm sure many of you, have, that the Talkbuster podcast was created. A place for me and others to share our memories of what once was, of the before time, of the long, long ago. I'm looking forward to see where this goes, how it evolves. Join me, won't you?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Talkbuster Podcast, the podcast about Blockbuster Video and video rental and just my nostalgia and my memories. I have a very special guest for this episode. One of the original crew I worked with at the Salem, Massachusetts store. You've heard Steve and Paul and Scott and Tim. And this is Andrew Connor. So, Andrew, introduce yourself, good sir.
What's going on, Chris? Like you said, one of the original crew at Blockbuster. Employee number 19657 225032 19657. Never forget that. Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to go down this nostalgia road with you. And man, it's just as much as pleasurable for me as it is for you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Andrew actually is, even though I was 17 when I started. How old were you?
I can't remember the years we were there. I know.
Well, I started in 2001, like late 2000, early
Okay.
2001.
I mean, I think if you were 17, I might have been like 19 or 18. I think I was a little bit older. I was
Yeah,
just, yeah. I mean, we were very close. It wasn't like as far as age bracket is concerned, but I think we were both one of the younger guys in there, given
that's what I
the time
thought.
frame.
That's
Yeah.
when you had said you had been hired by Karen, it was like, well, crap, how much longer was he there than me?
Yeah, I think because Karen was not there very much longer after my employment started before Scott came in, and then that he was the one that was there throughout my entire employment.
Yes, that was awesome. So, before we get into the meat of this, as
Mm-hmm.
always, I just want to mention the names of my $15 or more patrons from my Patreon. That's Mason, Christopher Finnick, Patricia Chipman, Hugh K. Campbell Jr., who goes as Green Goblin on Twitter, and was also a guest on one of the earlier episodes of the Talkbuster podcast. Yeah, so get on over to my Patreon if you liked hearing those names and want to hear yours, or if you want to get other cool bits. If we get those numbers up high enough, I'm going to give away a signed hooded sweatshirt from the folks down at the over in the Blockbuster at Bend, Oregon, the last on the planet. And also, today's podcast is brought to you by the Geeks with Shields podcast, your home for all things good and nerdy in this the darkest timeline. Go over and check out their show. I've been on a few times. We did a Spielberg Smackdown. We've done a Kevin Smith Smackdown to figure out the last, or if we left one movie from both of those directors around, what would it be? I've also done a couple movie reviews with them, and they've been on a recent episode of Shooting the Shit with Chippa to discuss Warhammer 40K and all that fun stuff. So go check them out. So back to Andrew. So this was 2000, 2001. Salem, Massachusetts. Where did you grow up, Andrew?
I am originally from Lynn.
Woohoo!
Yeah, grew up in Lynn and Peabody. Parents split. Went to school in Linfield and Danvers. But pretty much Lynn was like my stomping grounds, and a little bit in Nahant because my grandparents lived there. But yeah, Lynn, Mass, born and
Now,
raised.
did you grow up in Lynn near one of the two? Because your father owns or owned, I'm assuming owns, right? Connor Real Estate.
That was actually my grandfather's real
Grandfather.
estate company. Yep, and all like my aunts and uncles worked there. That was on Euclid Ave in Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I was like more near Lynn Shore Drive,
Okay.
up and down the beach. Swampscott, everything like that. Um, yeah, I'm a Lynn guy.
Me too. I actually live on Magnolia, which I can, it's probably like a 2-minute walk to Connor Real Estate from
Yeah,
right
you're
here.
right off Flat.
Yeah.
You're on Flax Pond, correct?
Yep. That's wild.
Awesome.
I used to drive by that every time I went to Blockbuster, and I remember one night you saying that. Oh yeah, no, that's my family's business. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah, yeah,
hilarious.
for
Small world.
sure. Yeah, and I definitely remember. I watched your it was like a 5 minute vlog that you made while you were canoeing on Flax, and I'm like, I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, those vlogs are fun. I started doing it to talk about Endgame because Bob and I got a chance to see it early, and
Cool.
that people loved it, and I'm like, oh, I'll just keep doing this. This is fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Why not?
You know who really enjoys them is Scott.
Is Scott has almost no social networking presence. It's like a personal decision of his,
Correct.
um,
Okay.
and which is really cool. But it's really hard to get a hold of him because of that. Because
Yeah.
he's stayed a good friend of mine, but he's out in Western Mass, so it's hard to get a hold of him. But
Mm-hmm.
he watches every single one of those video logs, and he'll
Oh,
send me a
cool.
message like once a week, like breaking down like how cool he thinks they are, and I'm like, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got a fucking like a non social media critic, like a direct critic.
Right, it's pretty good. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. So that's yeah, man. So what ended up? Why Blockbuster, Andrew? Well, how'd you end up there?
Well, it was just like I needed to get a job out of. I think I was going into high school, and I was like, all right, I got to get a job. And I thought, I'm into movies, into video games. I'm like, why not Blockbuster? I mean, I understand everything they're toting, everything they're peddling, the movies and the games and all that stuff. So I was like, like give it a shot. I show up there, fill out the application. They were hiring at the time. The lady was like, "You have no history, you have no experience, but hey, we need the help." So Karen was like, "Okay, you're hired." And yeah, and it's the thing that I find the funniest is that for the last 7 years, I worked in and around basically a not debt collection, but I worked with people that were behind on their mortgages. And I
Yep.
remember working at Blockbuster, being like, "Hey, you have a late fee of $4.19." Being a debt collector, when my first job, and having people like scream in my face about it, even though it was their fault. It's 419. Oh my god! Like, oh jeez, can you
Oh yeah, and they were brutal
please?
about it.
They're brutal, dude. Like, like you dropped off, and God forbid we didn't scan it in time. They dropped it off at 4 a.m. But like we didn't open it until whatever time, and it didn't get clocked in the night that they thought they returned the video. It's like, sorry, dude. Like, this is all a manual process. This is not the way we look at it now. It's not Redbox. This is just
Right.
Andrew, go over there, empty the bin, scan them all back in, and rewind them.
Oh, the rewinding.
Oh my god, yep. And it was right next to the shrink wrap machine, which I remember being bored as hell one night and deciding what would it be like if I shrink wrapped my own hand.
Oh,
And I
that was
definitely did
there.
that. Yep. It's like, oh my god, look at it. It's like a
I was
hot
there for
slug.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the reaction. Whoa, this is a lot warmer than I expected it to be. Oh crap, this is really hot. Get this
Absolutely.
off my freaking
Yeah.
hand.
Yep. Yep. Oh man. What we did with our spare time in that place.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Way too much fun. Um, way too much fun. So at the time, right? Because that whole parking lot has changed up over there. So our Blockbuster is now a Liberty Tax
a bank, and a Londi's sub shop.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that Caldor that was over there is a
Oh my
Target.
God, Caldor. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. What
And the
a blast in
Shaw's,
the past song.
right?
Yeah.
And the Shaw's is still there, but
That's good.
the KB Toys is like a Planet Fitness.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's kind of nuts over there.
Dude, Caldor though, like that department store, I would never have thought of that store again in my life if you had not brought it up right now.
Dude, and remember the Ground Round?
The Ground Round, dude, they had the best chicken tenders on the planet when I was a kid.
So think about this. The Ground Round is now an IHOP. Think about how dangerous that would have been to have an IHOP
Oh
right.
my God. Yeah, that would have been dangerous. Oh, it's inventory. Let's go over to the fucking IHOP.
Oh yeah, dude, inventories, huh?
Oh my God. I wasn't old enough to like stay over for them, at least at the beginning. And then I just was never invited to them. But being close friends with Paul and, and Jeremy and all that stuff, I knew went into it with the long wires and
You totally
getting every,
you
huh?
totally Denny's with us a few times though afterwards. I remember
Oh yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah. I just was never the one that was like put on inventory duty for whatever reason. But yeah, I was always like ready and willing, but it was just like, nope, not your shift. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, it was a weird place.
It was weird, but it is definitely one of the most memorable employments and one of the most memorable parts of my like, childhood, not childhood, like early childhood slash early young adulthood, like watching the transition between DVD and VHS and just being part of that whole transition as a whole, which is even now outdated. Even DVDs
Oh,
right now are not the same. If you have a regular like SD standard definition DVD, you're like, what? I have a copy of like one of my original copies of Snatch. It's like looks like crap,
all
but
right, full
still love
screen.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snatch is such a good movie.
Oh my God, dude, it's one of my favorites. That got me into Guy Ritchie. It really opened my eyes to like the whole British scene and like all that. Like just I love it. Like I'm a big Peaky Blinders fan.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like that. They're just their movie making industry is something else and equally amazing. Like Layer Cake, which is like probably my favorite movie ever. Um, yeah, I mean, working at Blockbuster in the time that we were there was something that definitely shapes like how I feel about movies nowadays, especially like just or even in general.
Oh yeah, dude. We got there right on the. It was still in the middle of its huge upswing. Like it kind of peaked in
Mm-hmm.
like 2003, 2004, and we were right there.
Yeah, we were right there for the crest of it.
That was amazing. It's hard to explain to people. I mean, we had like 10 rewinders going
Yeah,
full time, and we weren't a franchise store, so we couldn't charge people for it.
no, that was a thing. Like the franchise store could charge people
Could
for
charge a
not.
non-rewind fee.
No crap. I did no idea about that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just had to like suck it up and deal with it and just, run that machine until it broke.
It's cool, there's a common thread with everybody I've had on here, whether they were, people like you that we got to work together, or if they're people I've never met. And everyone always says it's either one of the most memorable or the best jobs they've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely hands down, like both. Best and most memorable.
And it's
Because
such a cool thing to me because the company, while it was around, was looked at as like this cynical, like corporate, kind of crappy thing. And I I never looked at it that way when I was working there,
yeah,
you know?
I don't think that I mean I we were in like an we weren't in like a mental mindset like, because we hadn't been employed long enough to like understand like the corporate part of it. It was just who is in the store, who are your fellow employees, what movies do your buddies like, your fellow employee buddies like, and like what's available to you. It really didn't. I didn't feel like I had any means of like or any thought process of like a greater power. It was just like what's in front of you and what do your current buddies while you're working like, and what are they going to tell you that they like versus what you like.
Exactly. And Scott and Steve and everybody said the same thing. It's like, oh man, it wasn't like, oh bummer, what's going to happen at work tonight? It's, oh, I can't wait to get to work and find out who I'm working with.
Yeah, exactly.
God, if it was me and you and Paul closing the store, it's like, all right, around 9 or 10 p.m., it's going to slow down. One of us is going to get sent over to the ATM with Paul's card, and he's going to call up Mandy's, and we're going to get a Sonic Death Pizza.
Yeah.
And and then you and I had to clock out because we were both 17.
Yes.
So,
oh my God, I forgot about that.
We'd still hang out in the store and eat pizza, and I'll close.
Yeah. Poor Paul is like stuck in the back counting money, and you and I are both off shift, just like, hopefully he's done soon.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that. You're bringing back memories, bro.
Oh yeah, Paul. He still brings up how he's like, oh, he goes, and then we were there for like 2 hours because the money was never freaking right because Colleen
it was never right. It was never right. Because it was like who forgave a late fee but didn't collect on it, or God no. I mean, who the fuck knows when it comes to? Sorry if swearing.
No,
I try not to, but yeah, I mean, there's so many factors that could make the till go awry in that store.
Oh yeah,
easily. But yeah, man, I remember a vivid memory of mine, and I actually spoke with Steve via Facebook Messenger. I remember being out coming into work and seeing this bright yellow Firebird. I'm like, that is the coolest shit I ever freaking saw. And I walk in and I'm like, hey guys, look at that fucking car out there. Who the hell is that? And Steve's like, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, oh my God, mind blown. Because it was so cool looking. It was so different than anything out in the time. And yeah, I'll never forget that car. I had my old Firebird, but nothing was that friggin', in your face. It looked like it had like giant nostrils, and it was like,
oh yeah,
gonna just rip your face off just for looking at it.
Did you ever get a chance to ride in it?
He did give me a ride in it once. I don't think he got to open it up or do anything crazy with it, but I was just happy enough to be in that car because at the time it was probably the coolest thing I ever saw.
We used to drive down into Lynn when him and I and Jeremy would close.
Yeah.
Him and Jeremy would be in the front seat, and I would be in that joke of a back seat.
That crawl space.
And I'd sit there, and he'd get down 128 as far as you could get, like off Walnut Street, and just open it up all the way up 128 to Denny's. And those memories, man, with like the sun coming up, especially if there was like an inventory or just flying up the street, we'd have like Metallica or Thrice or something blasting.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Best times. Best times.
They really were. And like I love taking this nostalgia dive with you because it's like they really were. Like there was no F's given. There was nothing better to do. It was just go hang out with your friends, do some random shit at the store, and then then leave whenever time you got let go. It's like watching Clerks. It's just like go hang out with your friends and do your job, and then leave, and then still hang out with your friends.
Did you see Kevin Smith's rebooting Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
I did, buddy. I'm so stoked about it.
We're going to try to get, if you're up here when that comes out, you should get in touch with me because we're going to try to get as many people as we can together.
Do we have any idea when it's coming out?
No, the claim is sometime in the fall to winter of this year. but he hasn't.
I could probably get my ass up there at least for, if it's a weekend or even like a couple days.
That'd
I
be
can
cool.
definitely,
I'm
yeah.
trying to plan a group outing to get like Scott and everybody, because we all remember, we must have seen that because it played over at Hollywood Hits.
Yeah.
And we just get off of work and all go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know this from looking, but I don't know if you knew. My wife, Sarah, who I'm married, was Paul's friend who I was dating at the time.
Yeah, I did know that. I
That's
remembered like that like that weird connection. I knew there was something deeper than you just marrying Sarah. Like
yeah.
she was somebody else.
She used to come to the store to hang out with all of us because she was Paul's friend.
Okay.
It's so random. And her and I got back together when I was in high school, college, separate from Paul. Both of us hadn't seen Paul in years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew where he was. He was working over at Showcase Cinemas in Revere, but like,
yeah,
so like, we reestablished that connection. It's great. You know what I mean?
I know it's such a small world when it comes to that kind of thing. You just like meet people, and then all of a sudden, bam! Years later, you got 2 kids and your house and land, and I mean, life legitimately speeds the hell up.
Oh yeah.
Get past, you know what I mean? Like I'm 35, and it's like, what the hell happened? Where did it all go? Like I've been down in Florida now for going on my 15th year, and I couldn't tell you what the hell happened. I mean,
You've
I
been
can
down
tell you,
there
bench,
15
dude. I
years.
05, dude, 14 years. I
Holy
moved here.
shit.
I moved here in September of 05. It was gloriously awesome. And then literally a month after I moved here, Hurricane Wilma rolls in and I have no power for 3 weeks. And I'm literally camping in the state of Florida inside my house. Like,
Jeez.
wow.
What
And
brought you down there?
my dad had bought a house down here and he's like, listen, I have a house down there. Do you want to go try out life down there? I was at Marion Court at the time. I had finished my freshman year in college, and he's like, it was the summer, and he's like, go down there for a week and tell me if it's something you want to do. And my sister was, really serious with her boyfriend at the time, and I just was like, I get down here, and I was like, fuck it, let's give it a try. And 14 years later, here I am. I went to I did my I've only got 2 years of college under my belt, but still it doesn't matter. I got 7 years of 8 years of mortgage experience down here under my belt. Met a ton of people down here. Um, I would much rather deal with the severe like god awful heat that we have versus the god awful cold that happens in the winter up there. I mean, it's equally nasty because when it's like if it's -2 outside and you really need the heat in your house, think about it on the other end when it's 91 and 100% humidity. It's just as dangerous to be outside in the sun without air
Yeah.
conditioning. It's just as dangerous. It's like it's the other end of the spectrum, but it is just as dangerous. Like you can pass out from heat stroke and get all kinds of damage, you know, it's just as bad. AC becomes as important as heat. But now my sister's down here, my dad's down here, my mom is a snowbird now. She was living here for a long time. She just moved to Michigan because my stepbrother has a kid, and she's going to help nanny them. She was nannying my niece for the first year she was born. But I'm super tight with my sister, super tight with my dad, my family, my friends. But this past week, when I missed you for the 4th of July, was like probably the coolest weekend I ever had, the coolest week I ever had. Just really getting to be back north and appreciate where I came from and just, look at it in different eyes.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially not being up here for that long. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I look at my, I was there with like all my cousins and my aunts and uncles, and I'm like looking at like how it's like, you really do, you suffer for those months, but those summer months are just so incredibly beautiful. Oh, and the other thing is when I flew in, we had to land in a different way in Logan, so we literally flew directly over Lynn. I have never seen Lynn or the North Shore of Massachusetts from the sky. And
it's
I got
cool,
the
huh?
dude, it's so cool. Like we went over like Lynn Woods, over Gannon Golf Course. Like I think we got kind of close to Marblehead, and it was just this green kind of like it, totally mind blown. Like I had never seen it from the air, and it was super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I've spent a
so
lot of
fortunate.
I spent a lot of time on Twitter when fans of these shows, I'll see that they'll say, "Oh, we're coming to Boston. Who has ideas and stuff to do?" And I just unload on them all the cool stuff to do. It's
Oh yeah.
amazing how, like, I all I do is think about getting to other parts of the country because I
Mm.
mean, you forget how lucky we are here
Oh,
with
for
all this
sure.
stuff.
I have at least 5 or 6 friends here that are like, why haven't you brought me to Massachusetts? Why have you not shown me Boston? Why have you not shown me Salem? Why have you not like, and then like even New Hampshire, for example, is like even a whole nother thing. Like I have on my nightstand I have a mug that I got from Fun Spot in New
Yeah.
Hampshire. That is my mecca. That is my happy place. Fun Spot in New Hampshire cannot be touched as far as
No,
I'm concerned. It is the best place on the planet.
we went there for my bachelor party.
Oh, dude. Heck yeah, dude.
Isn't
That's
that awesome?
awesome. Dude, that's
My brother
so
rented
sick.
my brother rented a party bus and drove me and my friends up to Fun Spot. And
Oh, God, that's so cool.
so we got trashed on the way to Fun Spot and then walked out, and it was awesome because they have that like little bar restaurant at the front.
Yeah.
I walked in and I just walked in the front door and I'm like, I'm getting fucking married. And the lady was like, "Sir, this is a family establishment." And I walked up and went, "Ma'am, this is a bar and I don't see any children." Yeah, I was in rare form that day. We had a blast though. We had so much fun. We
Yeah,
just played video games all day.
yeah.
And then we went to Pirates Cove golf course,
Yep.
right?
Mini golf, yep.
Yeah. And we were the only people on the course. So we had a blast. And the two teenage girls running it were dying. We were like, rolling down the hills and stuff. It was
Oh my god.
hilarious. And then we decided we were hungry. So Bob had the party bus pull over to the side of the highway, and he had pizzas delivered to it on the side of the highway.
Dude, that's fucking that yes. Yes.
It was so much.
Yes. Awesome. Man, yeah, I used to go to camp. I was a camp counselor for years and a camper at the same time for years. And like every Wednesday, that 1 week that we got every year, Wednesday was the morning was Pirates Cove and the afternoon was Fun Spot. Like
Oh,
it was, I didn't really care too much about mini golf because I just knew that I was gonna entrench myself in the old school like wing, which was like way in there, and then on the second or third
yep.
balcony floor. And I was just like gonna play Tron and Galaga and Spy Hunter and like any other like old school game I could think of, Space Harrier,
Oh yeah.
all that stuff. I didn't play. I never played anything for tokens or tickets. I was always like, I've given like a $10 worth of quarters or tokens. I am gonna go just bury myself in games. I don't care what I got out of it, except for what the joy I got out of it.
When's the last time you've been there?
Shit. probably 10 years, if not more.
So they've declared it the National Arcade Museum.
That's cool. I mean, I did see that special about the whole Donkey Kong
Did you watch?
competition.
Did you watch the movie, The King of Kong?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
so good. So when you go to the area with all the old games in it now,
Yeah.
it's just like it used to be. They didn't like go and like change it or anything, but they have all 80s music playing in that room, and next to
God.
the game they have a picture of the person who holds the world record for that game with it, which is really cool.
Well, it's funny that that guy, the bad guy, Billy or whatever, that long-haired like mullet kind of dude,
Yes,
he had his restaurant is about 20 minutes down the highway from my house.
that's funny.
It's nuts. Like me and my buddy Andrew were at, a long time ago, like probably like 5 years ago, we're gonna go there. Never ended up going there. And then I know that he had I think he had all his claims to it like stripped. Like
Yeah,
he's no longer like even in any type of documentation because
yeah,
he came up with a bunch of ludicrous fake shit.
yeah. God, I loved that movie. I actually won tickets to see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever see the I think it's a documentary or movie about Phil Fish and Fez and how he like did you ever play Fez?
yeah.
Yeah, and there was like a thing where he was at like an E3 or some sort of conference and he like I forget he just like it kept failing or something kept happening and he was like losing his mind. Am I wrong?
Jesus. Yeah, I've just never heard of it. It's probably the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah. I've watched it. I mean, it was just like because he came up with Fez, and then he had some other game that he was working on, and he had a booth at the conference, and it kept breaking and it kept messing up, and he just was like had no mental faculty to like maintain, and he was just like it was like a slow spiral into madness watching this guy lose his mind.
Yeah, dude, you next time you get up here, you got to get up to Fun Spot. They do it right.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily where we're at, we have that little slice of heaven that is Salem Willows, which
Yeah,
is not
and
nowhere
it's
near as big, but it's Nostalgiaville no matter what.
it's still great. You know what else they've done?
What's
They
that?
they converted the bottom of the old Salem jail into a restaurant, and
No way, really?
yeah, so the building itself is condos now, but the downstairs is a restaurant called Bit Bar, and
Oh, okay,
it's like a like kind of hipstery craft drinks and
okay.
food place, but it's all video game themed, and it's just filled. It's not a big place, so there's not a ton
Hmm.
of them, but it's all classic arcade machines.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a really fun place to go.
Yeah,
You
we have
know,
a place down here called Glitch, and it's similar, just you kind of craft beersy. It's like they always have like like it feels like walking into an old arcade because it's like I don't know if they purposely do it or whatever, but it always seems like there's like a low fog on the ground. And
nice.
they have there's not like real 80s music playing, but like it's definitely got that feel. And then in the parking lot, they have like a huge mural of like David Bowie and like um, Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And it's like it's definitely got that kind of 80s throwback feel. And everything in there is all arcades. And then there's another place called 10th Level Tavern, where you walk in and they have emulators everywhere. And they have a bunch of like TVs and stuff that are open to people that want to bring in their PlayStations or their Xboxes or their GameCubes, or if you want to play Smash or Street Fighter or whatever you want to do. But it's funny because I had been going there since its inception. It started out as a bar called Another Castle, just like, sorry, Mario, your Princess is Another Castle. Turns out they couldn't keep the name because in Seattle or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, there was a pinball part slash restoration company called Another Castle. And they ran into a naming convention issue. And they wouldn't come to terms. Like, even the bar was like, listen, we'll promote you, blah, 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 blah. They were like, nope, can't have it. And then the second name was called Power Up Pub, but apparently it just didn't really do anything for their clientele. It didn't help them do well. And then they finally landed on 10th Level Tavern, and it seems to be doing really well because they've established more space. They bought out the neighboring little suite, so it's bigger now. But yeah, like we have some pretty neat places down here as well. I mean, nothing will ever hold a candle to Salem Willows, but they got some stuff in the interim and the time, for the time being.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that places to play arcade games.
Yeah, it's just there isn't anything like the Salem Willows just invites adults like us that grew up with it and little kids like my niece or your kids to just like, it's like, come in and have fun. Like, unfortunately, where I'm at down here, and it seems to be the thing, is that now they have places like Dave and Buster's, which are still fun, but it's like they're either pointed directly at adults like us, or they're pointed directly at the kids, like, boomers. Like, we have boomers, which is basically like what's the one that's in Peabody there, Bonkers. It's just, it's like the same. It's like either adult pointed or it's kid pointed. There's nothing that's like right in the middle where you could be sitting there playing Simpsons with, you could be 10 years old playing with a 30, 35, 40-year-old person, and it's completely normal. It's just they don't have anything like that, and I think it's lost. It's either pointed in one way or the direction, one demographic or the other, given on like what kind of, capitalistic model. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
And it also changes the type of games that are available and what kind of, the little kids, all they want to do is pump money into token machines that give out tickets. So like, we want to play a game that, like, I'll spend $10 on one game, but I want a game like playing Time Crisis or Golden Axe or Ninja Turtles or X-Men, like something like that. Like, I don't mind spending the money just to see the end of the game.
Right. Oh man, Salem Willows.
Yeah, I was I was sad, but not sad too bad, because my niece is just going to be 2. I don't think she's really old enough to really appreciate it yet. I think when she turns 3, I'll make a point of visiting there with her so she can kind of really enjoy it, because her attention span right now is like 15 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. If it's not Elmo or Abby or Sesame Street, it's not there. But that will be as long as that place is open, or even, if anything, God forbid, something happens where it's no longer. I'll, make sure that that is something that she experiences, because for me, it's, a huge part of my my history, my love of video games, my love of everything that is that kind of stuff.
It's basically unchanged too. Like, all the food's
Which
the
is, yeah,
same.
it's so nice that it's like that. Like, you go in there and it has never changed. It's always the same, and the games update a little bit, there's a little change here and there. They got this machine that's newer and that machine that's a little bit newer, but it's like the feel never changes. The restaurants don't change. The park hasn't changed. It's just, it's this little like time capsule that is so freaking amazing. And, we're very fortunate to be people that have, been able to spend time and money there because it's a timeless piece of history.
It really is, man. And so was Blockbuster. It felt like it was going to be around forever.
I
Right?
know, dude,
Like
forever.
imagine.
Like I never thought in a million years that place would ever phase out.
Right. It seemed too ingrained.
Yeah, I think we had no like. I always tell myself that I wish I could go back to my like 17-year-old self or even 15-year-old self and say, hey, listen, by the time you're 30 or by the time you're 35, everything you want to see, every movie you want to watch, will not need to go to the store anymore. Everything is like I think I would blow my 15-year-old mind out of my own head. I think I'd probably have a stroke if I told my 15-year-old self what is available on a device the size of playing cards.
Right.
And it just phased them out. Like I mean, DVDs were one thing, but like the end result, the end all be all was Netflix with their mailing DVD stuff. I know Blockbuster tried to keep up with their own mailing in thing. I'd never subscribed to either of them. I think my mom had Netflix, but as soon as people had the option to um, mail it. I mean, it was super convenient. It was like you had this many days, and as long as it's scanned in the mail by X day, it's back. Like you weren't waiting for me or you or Paul or Jeremy or whoever to scan them back in. It was like once the mailman scanned it, it was returned.
Exactly. It was brilliant. And then when they brought in the streaming, it's all over. Did you
Right,
know
yeah.
I didn't know this while we were working there, but I've learned this after being on doing this show, that Blockbuster actually turned down Netflix to buy them.
They didn't. They did, so Blockbuster did not allow Netflix to buy them out.
No, the other way around. So Blockbuster, when Netflix was a fledgling company,
They had
and they
the Blockbuster had the opportunity to acquire Netflix
and go in on it with them, and they turned
and
them
then
down.
didn't because they thought that they were already the bigger,
Yep,
bruiser. And oh wow,
yep. Think
wow,
about
that
that one.
yeah, yeah, that's nuts.
It would have been a very different place.
Yep, oh for
So
sure. I mean,
I I interviewed this guy. His name was Matt Lynch, and if you ever get out to Seattle, you gotta find this place. It's called Scarecrow Video. I
okay,
don't know if you listened to that episode yet, but they have 140,000 physical copies of VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray movies.
I
There,
do think I listened to that episode.
yeah. And I want to like just walk through there and look at everything.
I mean, how big must that place be though?
It
I mean,
looks
for like, I mean, Laserdisc, DVD, like that kind of thing is you can fit that in like a room, but to have that kind of space for VHS,
yeah.
holy shit!
And then I found another place, I forget the name, but you can find like out of print VHSs for rent, and you just pay like a security deposit on them, and they'll
Wow.
mail them to you. And they don't really care what you do with them. So
Huh.
I was thinking of doing that with some and like digitizing them.
Oh wow. Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool too.
absolutely.
So back to we jumped around. What were some of your favorite memories from Salem, from the store when we were working there?
Okay. Do you remember Churchill?
Oh yeah.
I remember the funniest thing. One of the funniest things I heard about him was that he was like, I think it was right around 2000. He's like, the word of the millennia is AIGHT, and he
Mm-hmm.
swore by that shit like it was nobody else. He was like, "Yep, everybody's gonna be I. That's my word. I put my name on it. Blah 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 blah." I don't know if I have any really like. I mean, I was big friends with Paul.
Yep.
We used to hang out all the time. Um, it was just, I, I remember like a couple times, like when they had to do inventory, there'd be a few bottles in the back, but I was never part of it because I wasn't young enough. Wasn't
Dude,
old enough.
were
I
you
remember
at
like the manager's desk, like having like I'm like, all right, I'm clocking out, getting ready to leave, and I look over and there's like 3 bottles of whiskey and 2 bottles of vodka, and I'm like, all right,
Yep.
it's inventory night. But
Do you
I had to get out of there.
Do you remember, were you at Denny's the time after inventory where we all realized at the same time that we left a bunch of empties all over the
I
shelves?
do.
Yeah. And we had to go and clean the store up at 8 in the morning before the showed up.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that shit, dude.
Oh, it was
Wow.
nuts.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I have like the one of the things that I have just as Andrew, I have like a photographic memory of any building or any type of place that I ever spend more than just like a pass through. So I can like vividly remember the exact layout of the restaurant. I mean, the store.
Yep.
Um, and like I think I told you I bought like my first DVD player I bought was like $100. I bought it. I had it forever. My mom actually had it forever and only recently had to get rid of it because it was just no longer working. It just, shit the bed. It was this gold Panasonic, huge, wide, flat thing. And I remember buying it and just being like, yeah, got my first DVD player. This is amazing. With my Blockbuster discount. I remember the other thing I remember is being able to order DVDs that like at the time we had no means to like really order them. Like I remember I ordered Ninja Scroll.
Oh, yeah.
Um like I ordered like a bunch of like anime stuff that we just didn't have anything like Amazon or anything where you could just buy like really like one-off like titles. And I remember like buying like I bought a Kira special edition. I think I bought Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
Um, like I bought that was like right when I was really getting into anime, and I was just like, shit, I have like access to this catalog. Like I'm gonna order all this stuff because I can, and I'm gonna discount because I'm working there. Like hell yeah, because definitely Aeon Flux, um, all that kind of stuff. I was just like sweet. Like I mean, like gobble this up while I can, because there was like unless we went to Harrison's or some other comic book shop, you would be hard pressed to like sit there and scan and try to find exactly what you wanted. You'd be spending like an hour looking through thousands of copies of Dragon Ball Z and and whatever like Gundam Wing, just to find that one title that you wanted.
Absolutely. So you're
So
talking
that
about remembering the layout of the store. Do you remember that creepy hallway to the back door that we never used?
yes,
Do you remember that there was still a Pokemon Snap machine in there forever?
no,
Yeah, there was. If you looked back there, I guess someone broke in the back door and finally stole it at one point, like a
uh-huh.
little. Well, but there was an old busted up Pokemon Snap machine. Do you remember those Blockbuster Pokemon Snap machines where like it was just a TV and a box with the N64, but if you hit like enter at the end, it printed out a photo from the game?
Yes, oh my god, yes.
Yeah,
For Pokemon Snap, that was that random, like, it's like, we're going to play Pokemon, but you're just going to have to take pictures of them with this
that one.
random N64 peripheral.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, I had no idea there was a machine like that back there. I mean, we had I know a lot of Blockbusters had that kind of like, you want to play the game that's out right now? We can do it. But no.
Or the
Oh,
Direct TV for some reason.
I don't remember. I remember DirecTV being one of those things that we were like pushing for whatever reason.
It's funny, poetic justice wise, that when Blockbuster finally got dropped by Viacom, and that was like the death knell when they started like dying out. The Dish Network bought them, even though like
Uh,
they were hawking Direct TV. It's what?
yeah, I think I remember. I somehow sold somebody on DirecTV one time, but I wasn't familiar enough with the process, and I think I had to like hand it off to Paul and be like, "Hey, listen, this guy's like ready to sign up, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I sold them on it, so can you please continue the process of like actually signing them up because I don't know what I'm looking at." Um,
It's funny.
yeah, and then it's funny, like one of my again visual kind of things. I remember like looking through the video games, and I remember how we could rent. I think we could. What was it? We could rent anything for free, but if it was brand new,
We had
you
to
had
wait
to wait a week or a month or something like that. And I
2 weeks.
yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm not really sure what the video games were like. I don't know if that like adhered to the same thing. But one of my favorite games right now, even though the last one wasn't that great, is Deus Ex.
Oh yeah.
Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. And I will always remember seeing that box, that title, whether I think it was PlayStation 2, but never renting it. Always just looking at the cover art, but for some reason there was never ended up renting it. But it's funny that it ends up being like one of my all-time favorite like action RPG games ever.
Of course. Of course. Those are great games. Do
Yeah.
you what was your do you have like a memory of like a big movie that came out that was like just ridiculous to
Snatch.
rent? Snatch, yeah, okay.
Snatch. Yep, Snatch.
Well, you were there, yes.
Memento.
Oh, we went and saw
Um,
Memento. Remember that?
yep. Snatch, Memento. I mean, Snatch is the biggest one. No. You know
Snatch.
what? No. The biggest one was Fight Club. I remember exactly when it came out. I had no idea what it was about, and like one of us convinced me to see it, and I was like, it literally changed my mental mindset for movies thus forward. Like that was like probably the biggest like catalyst as far as Andrew loves movies was watching Fight Club because it came out. I remember looking at the cover art, not really understanding it, didn't really have any interest in it, and then all of a sudden, you, Paul, Jeremy, Tim, whoever, Steve was like, watch it, and I watched it, and it was just like, holy fuck,
Oh yeah.
this is amazing. Like this is what? Like wow. Just like completely mind blown. But yeah, Fight Club for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice.
then after that kind of led into like Lock, Stock, Snatch, all that stuff. But no, Fight Club, yeah, hands down.
It was so good to get that many rentals. Like I would just rent everything.
Yep. I was
Like
just like, I like the cover art. Let's rent that.
I
Oh, this looks pretty
remember
cool.
I remember Session 9 and Donnie
Session
Darko.
9. Dude, that was another one. Oh, you know what's another big one that I remember and I'll never forget is Unbreakable. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
recently saw Glass, and that was
Yep.
amazing to watch all three of those, between Glass, Split, and Unbreakable come together. I remember VDA/VHS when we were there.
Yeah, Unbreakable was so good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What was the one you just mentioned?
Donnie Darko.
Donnie. Oh my God, that one. I kind of. I remember it coming out. I didn't see it when I was younger. I think I only watched it like for the first time, like and really appreciating it as like I think in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But it was just. I mean, that movie's another one of those something else kind of things where you're just like, wow, like you really don't know how to really take it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
that like
Remember the quantity of movies we used to get in was just
mhm.
insane.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
like
they would all
the
disappear.
inventory. Yeah, like I like yeah, that's nuts to think about that. I remember like it would just be so many VHS tapes, and DVDs, and it would just slowly no longer be there. People just kept them, didn't return them, broke them.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh, you remember like the constant struggle with the DVD lock jewel cases, trying to get
Oh
those things
yeah,
to unlock. Yeah, those
yeah,
like
and then
those like yellow like little shafts that would like slide in,
those
and
just kept snapping. Oh,
yeah, it's like, yeah, you can't get these out. Snap. Want to bet?
Tim remembered this. Do you remember the Trail of Blood from the? Were you there for that? I think that was a Tim thing, but like the guy, like they followed a trail of blood to a guy walking out the door. He had cut himself trying to cut open a DVD. They're like, we're pretty sure you tried to steal this DVD we found covered in blood. How could you prove that? Because the trail of blood is leading to you.
No, I never heard about that. But
Do you
that,
remember all the posters Scott would put in the bathroom, like the Fight Club poster?
yep.
And do you remember Jimmy Neutron?
I mean, I know what it is. I don't know
Do
about.
you remember the poster?
No.
All right, so you should listen to the second episode I did with Steve.
Okay.
But so me and someone, it was either Steve or Tim, were walking along the new release wall, and we were like just saying stupid shit, about movies. And there was a movie with a quote from Roger Ebert that said, "Erotic, gorgeous." And I said, "Oh, come on, that's the same thing he said about Jimmy Neutron." And I guess there was a store meeting that I wasn't there for where they defaced a poster of Jimmy Neutron that had been hanging in the bathroom. And they saved it and gave it to Steve as a wedding gift. And Steve
epic.
gave it to me like the night I recorded with him, and him and I read them all off of it. And they're bad, dude. It is the most immature, homophobic, terrible stuff. And it's just bad, but it's hilarious at the same time. One of my favorites that's not really, really offensive just says the critics agree. It's 90 minutes long. It's like, that's awesome.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that was like my first like foray into like the world, and like you make good friends and learn how petty people are about the fact that they don't want to pay $4 because they haven't returned their videos on time. I'm
Oh, yeah.
17-year-old debt collector.
It's so funny. I've heard Paul say the same thing. He goes, it's really funny that I was a, small wage debt collector, because that's not what I do for work.
Yeah.
Like,
I worked in loan servicing for like my entire like until I got laid off recently. I worked at this company called Bayview Loan Servicing, and prior to 3 years ago, we were doing was trying to fix the people that were affected by the '08 bubble, where like everybody was
Yeah.
just getting like properties for nothing, and now they're like way behind. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not effectively collecting debts, but it's like, hey, we know you're behind, let me try to help you. But it's in the same vein, I'm like, oh my god, my first job and my most recent job are doing the same kind of thing.
just pinching money out of people.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could sit here and like I said, I'm just like picturing the store in my head. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could do this forever. What I was going to say is, we've been doing about an hour, and
Yep.
it's late. So do you want to play a silly movie game I came up with?
Sure.
I don't, so you've probably heard this on some shows, but I'll do the quick spiel. This is right quote wrong movie.
Okay.
It's a game that me and a buddy from my current job came up with on a lunch break one day.
Cool.
And the idea is it's played like Cards Against Humanity. So I sent you 10 quotes.
Yep.
10 quotes are your hand of 10 white cards, right? And I've got a hand of 10 white cards over here. And you and I are going to pick at random movie titles. Just like we're going to throw a number into a random number generator. And what did you just do?
I am just trying to
To find where those were.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send them to your Facebook
Yes,
Messenger
that'd be
instead?
perfect. Yeah.
Cool. I will do that while we talk.
Cool.
And so the idea is a random movie will be generated from you picking a number. My connection was interrupted. A network change was detected. I don't care. Just bring me to Facebook. Anyway, and then you and I are each going to throw a quote out there that we think best fits that movie, but isn't from that movie, and hilarity will ensue. For example, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. That quote's from Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
The Passion of the Christ. I think we're going to need a bigger boat. It's from Jaws, right?
Yeah.
Titanic.
Okay.
You know?
So
That's kind of
what
how
if I so one of us shouts out a movie title or a quote?
No. So you have 10 quotes. I have 10 quotes.
Okay.
And so for round one, we'll just get right into it. So round one, give me a number between 3 and 145.
98.
98. All right. The movie title for round one is Airplane. So you have to pick a quote of yours that you think would be funny, or ironic or unique, or just fits really well with the movie Airplane.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing. So you go first.
All right, I got. All right. Hey guys, which one of these makes me look more like a doctor? Me playing saxophone or me listening to saxophone?
My favorite quote from that movie, and that's perfect in Airplane. That's awesome. Have you seen Ghostbusters 2016?
Yes, I have. It's hilarious.
I love that bit. Which
So
one of these
good.
pictures makes you look more like a doctor?
I'm a recent and hardcore fan of Kate McKinnon. She is amazing.
She's unbelievable. She's out of her freaking mind. And it's great.
Yep.
All right. And my quote is, I can't believe we said no to free beer.
That totally fits too.
And that was from Tremors. I still think your quote wins though.
Okay.
All right. So round two, 3 to 145.
3 to 145.
Pick a number, yeah.
121.
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh God. Okay.
Just so you know, I'm printing this game out on cards and I'm bringing it to my live show and I'm going to play it with people because this is going to be awesome.
All right, I got it.
Go ahead.
You should read your Bible, sirs. You'll find all kinds of types of weird shit in there. Like, did you know Jesus was a Jew?
I love that quote. I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
I think that fits better.
Yeah.
It works better with Dawn of the Dead because it's Dawn of the Dead.
I love that Clerks quote though. Clerks 2, right? And there's another good one. It's just, if you've been reading your Bible, sirs, which Bible? The Holy fucking Bible. That's which Bible.
I thought you were supposed to be here today.
So good. All right, one more. 3 to 145.
83 birth year.
You know what's funny? My internet just came back.
Oh, cool.
That's right. We're doing The Toxic Avenger.
Oh, wow. Okay. Toxic Avenger.
Love means never having to say you're ugly.
Is that an actual quote?
From the abominable Dr. Phibes.
No shit, because I know the original one's from Love Story.
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna say put the bunny back in the box.
Nice. Nice. Oh, The Toxic Avenger is so good.
Yeah. That's a cool game, dude. That's
isn't it
awesome.
fun?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna print it. I'm gonna print it for real. Play it at the show. I've played it on every episode of all my random podcasts for like 2 months now, and
Yeah.
people love it. So I want to get up to about 500 quotes. I'm at 250 right now,
Oh,
and when I
cool.
get up, I'm going to try to kickstart it, turn it into something real.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'll throw money at that for sure. Hey, is your
Sweet deal.
is the live show gonna be like video recorded or is it
Oh
just
yeah,
audio recorded?
it's going to be audio and video. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah. I'm unfortunately not gonna be up there for it, but I definitely want to see it.
Oh, absolutely. No, dude, it's going to be great. I can't wait. But I am super tired, and so
Yep.
I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me here, Andrew, and we should do this
Dude,
again.
thank you so much for having me. Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to walk down this fucking road with you, dude.
And seriously, if you planning on being up here again, and you have advance notice, I'll try to get a whole bunch of people together. I'm sure everyone would love to see you.
Oh,
You know,
hell yeah, dude, for sure. I just wish I had more. Like, it's funny. I had the longest trip in a long time this past, early in July. But it was the one time when I was literally like, oh no, we're going to this. Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh,
no,
we're gonna
dude,
do
that's
this.
awesome.
Yeah,
Always the most important.
yeah, of course. But
And then, well,
this is great. So yeah,
dude,
we'll stay in touch for sure. I'm like I said, I'm definitely a viewer and a subscriber. So
nice.
I'd love to have another chat with you sometime down the line. And yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Of course, and I love doing this show, and I'm glad both people that lived it with me, like you, are latching onto it so much, and that new viewers every day. It seems like I hit on something really cool here, and I can't wait to see what keeps happening with it. You
Hell
know.
yeah, man. Well, thanks.
No, thank you, Andrew, and to everybody else. Thank you for making this a Talkbuster night or day or whenever you're listening. And please be kind, rewind. We'll talk to you guys soon.